Alright guys, Papa Pepper back once again as we end this year. I've got a challenge for myself, and one of the cool things about doing these YouTube videos is that I can look back over my life and see some of the things that happened before. As Mama Pepper and I did a recap on 2018 and talking about our homesteading goals, one of the things that came up in that video is the fact that we had not yet finished fencing in our property.
Another one of our goals was putting up our fence, fencing up the property.
Yes.
We got most of it fenced up, just have a small stretch to finish up.
Almost have 100% of the perimeter fence up. There's just one stretch left, which we'll cross off in 2019.
The same amount of fencing is still absent as there was a year ago, which means thus far in 2019 I've accomplished nothing as far as actually adding to the perimeter fence. Yes, I did some rock pillars, worked on some gates, some other things like that, but I did nothing as far as actually progressing with getting the rest of the property fenced in. So there's an opening between my place and my downhill neighbor. The cool thing is that when I put up a fence, he gets a fence out of it, and therefore he says he'll pitch in with me, and he's got some resources laying back here. They're kind of well grown up through, but that actually is a pile of, I'll show you guys. See, it's a giant thing of cattle panel and some 6-foot T-posts. So I'm going to dig that out of there and use that for the fencing here. So right now, as I record this first video, or the first section of this video, it's the 25th, which means I have exactly today, and then I think 6 more days, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, yeah, 6 more days. So I've got 1 week to see if I can actually do this. I'm not gonna be able to work on this every day of that week, but I'm gonna see if I can actually finish the fencing this year. That's my challenge to myself. He's pitching in, he's not here, so he won't be pitching in effort yet, although he should show up before the end of the year. Maybe he'll help. But we're going to get this, as much of this up as I can, and I'm gonna use this as a challenge to see if I can, but I've got some issues that that may prevent me. I'll show you that. Well guys, the hoodie came off, and I think I gotta get this long sleeve shirt out of here and switch down to a short sleeve shirt too. So I've got an 8-foot trailer here, 16-foot cattle panels. I can lay down that back gate flat and lay these on flat, kind of bungee cord them or ratchet strap them to the front and drag them, but then every time I hit a root or a stick or a stump or a rock, it can bend the cattle panels. So what I found the easiest thing to do is just to do them like this. It works well. They're kind of in, greenhouse form. I've got probably, I think, 8 of them here. I can't remember if I need 16 or 20 to finish that wall. But for me, in an 8-foot trailer, this is one of the easiest ways. If I was going down the street, I would tie them here and tie them there, bungee cord them, ratchet strap them, something. But since I'm just heading up over there to the border, I'm just going to pull them. And I'm going to have to off-road this too, so hopefully I can get to where I need to go, or I've got a lot of carrying to do. So I'm going to get some of these T-posts out of here too, and then we'll go from there. And the T-posts we're using are going to be tall enough that they'll leave some above the cattle panels, so that way we can run barbed wire on top too. There's some T-posts there. We'll get them unburied and get this stuff up there. So, pulled up into our associate pasture here. I'm actually going to put a gate here eventually, probably just out a cattle panel. I've got an idea for that to lead into this next one over. My fence line's way back there and it stops up over there. I was hoping to drive up through the neighbor's field up to that area, but that's not going to work because of some of the runoff ditches and things like that. There's no way I'm driving my truck and trailer through that. So I'm going to get as close as I can by opening this up, driving my truck through up to the corner of our property, and then we'll be able to head back. And the cool thing is too, on my wood stove build, I'm going to need a number of these. I just kind of stored here. So this puts me right in the area with an empty trailer. That works out pretty well. And then this project was on my to-do list too, so I may just kind of leave this opened up and be able to do that project at some time in the near future as well. But again, I'm on a deadline, I'm on a goal. Let's get this thing going. All right guys, down here in the corner, a couple things I'm gonna get to right away. Number one, I definitely recommend using gloves anytime you're gonna be using a T-post pounder. I imagine I'm gonna get blisters anyway, but it definitely saves a lot of wear and tear on the hands. The second thing is you gotta see the soil that I'm working with here. So, if you're catching any of this yet, I mean, just look at this. Essentially, this is what I'm blasting my T-post into, and even when it's not the surface level because it's covered in leaves or something, it's still there right beneath. So here's the last one we had. Center screen, that's the last one we had. Everything's open from here to there. Obviously, when I'm dealing with rock and clay anyway, as the medium that I'm pounding these T-posts into, it's difficult. It's going to take some physical endurance. I'm going to get a workout. That's good. You know, I'm not going to go to the gym, so if I can work out at home, that's good. Also, a lot of the soil around here is clay, which when it's dry is very hard. The soil here is actually damp right now, so that's going to help. And in fact, a while ago, Pinky Pepper looked at me and she goes, "Hey Dad, maybe you should go finish that fence." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" She says, "Well, it's been raining for a couple days." And I'm like, wow, that's so... I didn't learn that till I was like 35 or more, that after it rains, it's easier to pound in T-posts because the ground is wet. So hopefully I'll be able to get these in. If not, I can always bring buckets of water over my trailer too. My goal here is just simply to take those supplies right there off, toss them over the fence here onto the stuff behind me, and then begin working my way up, I guess. It'd probably be easier to come down this way, and if it's too much work, I'll probably switch, but I'm just gonna start running from this quarter on up and see what we can get done. But I will show you the distance as I get started too, and then I'll just kind of, I don't know, insert some random clips of me working and probably check back on this video and let you know if I succeeded or not. So if you're seeing this before the beginning of the new year, there's a chance I made it. If you're seeing this after, who knows? I might have not. If you look down that line, that's actually a pretty straight line. You can see this is my side, here's my neighbor's side. He wants to get the whole thing fenced in. I may help with that too. But if I do this, then the north edge of, or the south edge of his property will be taken care of. So one of these 16-foot cattle panels is about 5 steps for me. So as I show you between here and where I'm going, where we had a bulldozer run up and down just to kind of create something, I'll be counting, and every 5 steps I'll just kind of say the number so you guys can know how many cattle panels I'm going to have to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26 or 25, 26. It's actually a little more difficult for me to walk and count and record and do all that and only count every 5th step. I was thinking it was 20 or 16 to get to here, but if it's 26, that makes sense. That's where the 2 and the 6 came from. So that's the distance that I gotta go, guys. You can't even really see from here the other end. So that's what I'm dealing with. Like I said, this is just my goal to finish this year. And then I'll still have some rocks to put around each side of the bottom. I'll still have some barbed wire to run on the top. I'll still have some gabions to put out front, the rock pillars. I'm not going to do the whole fence, the rock pillars, just kind of what you see from the street, I think. But that's where we're at. I'll get working here and we'll see what happens. I was trying to remember if that worked or not. It doesn't work. The bottom couple get bent, so now I got to straighten them. Now I'll just power. Now I know. So while I'm working over there, a couple of little peppers are done with their chores and their school for the day, so they're coming out to help, and they're going to be picking up these rocks and putting them on the thing for us, so that way we're able to build. What are we building, son?
It was yeah. Wood stove?
That's right, we're building our platform for our wood stove. So we've got a good supply. They're going to have to be very careful because there can be things hiding in there. And we'll go from there. Yep, so don't put them any farther than that, but make it just one flat level all the way back. So by stretching out that line, it allows me to have a nice straight shot. The one I already did behind me is pretty good. And then from here now, I can have one line head all the way up to that tree there. And the longer the section that you can do at once, if you look center screen, you'll see something orange. But the longer the section you can pull a rope like that, the straighter it's going to be for a longer run. It'll make it look more uniform. And then also, if you see here, you know, this is almost the height of a T-post here. Up over there it's like knee high, just because of the elevation of this thing changes so much. And that's part of the reason why we like to put a nice layer of rock on each side of our cattle panel too, to close in the bottom and prevent things from digging in or digging out. So one thing that I like to do too is I'll take my last T-post that's upright and I'll lay down my cattle panel that's next. I'll kind of have it where it can attach in that last section there, and then I'll run it out pretty much right in line with this. And then what I'll do is I'll put a T-post on the ground in the middle and one at the end, and that'll let me know if I'm aiming to have 3 T-posts per 16-foot cattle panel, about where an 8-foot spacing is. And because of rocks and other things, I may not be able to go down exactly where I want, but we've got a little bit of play and it'll still work. You do lose a little bit of distance too. If you see, because of where I had to put this one, where I attached it is 8 inches or so, actually before the end of the cattle panel. And now this is going to be an overlap here, but you gotta do what you gotta do. We don't live in a perfect world, so we'll get this started.